Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV.
What a finish, what a goal!
Good afternoon, welcome to Cardiff City TV. Welcome to Matchday Live with myself, Ashley Jameson, alongside me, my colleague as ever for Home Games, John Donovan, as we look ahead to today's game with Coventry City here at the Cardiff City Stadium. And it's been a week of recuperation for the Bluebirds after a really good 7 days before that. 3 matches unbeaten now, 2 wins and a draw in those 3 preceding fixtures against 3 Greater Manchester teams, again Burnley, Blackburn and Wigan Athletic. And it's fair to say, John, that that's put a far rosier sheen on things around this football club after the last couple of weeks.
It has indeed. I've always said to you, Ash, I continue to say I believe in this project, and players were brought in the summer, and I think the management and recruitment team there did a good job, but it was a up and down start to the season. The consistency of those 7 days of performance, of energy levels, of 90 minutes effort and not perhaps switching off, I think has given a sense of optimism. Football is a fickle game, as we know. It could change very quickly, but right now I think people are coming to Cardiff City Stadium, myself included, with a smile on our face and looking to see what else this team can do. They've won points in different ways, with the ball, without the ball, scoring beautiful goals, scoring a couple more kind of nitty-gritty goals and second chance goals. I've been impressed with those 3 games. Let's see if it can continue today.
Yeah, different type of challenge today. We'll be hearing from interim manager Mark Hudson and Perry and G as well ahead of kick-off this afternoon. And they're going to touch on many of the same points that we're going to make, is that this is a false position for a Coventry City team that come here this afternoon, rooted to the bottom of the table. It's because they've played 3 fixtures less than anyone else in the division because of the issues with the pitch after the Commonwealth Sems tore up the playing surface there and has set them back a little bit. So it's a difficult fixture to get a read on, I think, isn't it?
It is. I think Coventry, had a very good 3/4 of the season last year, and probably squad depth, they ran out of pace. Let's not forget when they came to Cardiff City for that rearranged game, or came to Cardiff City Stadium, they were still in and around the playoff conversation. Mark Robbins has done an excellent job. It's been turbulent at Coventry for a few years with the stadium issue, etc., etc. There is talk now of a takeover involving, I think, John McAvoy, who I know from my ice hockey world. He's owner of the Nashville Predators, and there's money there. Coventry fans will be, begging for that, but that's the bigger picture. Short term, I think they probably are in a false position. They've got 3 games in hand. I think Middlesbrough are the team just outside the safety zone, and they're 6 points adrift of Middlesbrough. They're missing perhaps 2 of certainly their most influential player in Callum O'Hare, and obviously defensive midfielder as well in Hamer, who add some steel, add some guile, add some creativity to this team. So they're missing those 2 players, but this is still a team largely that represents last year's Coventry City, which performed well in the Championship. They've got, they want to use the wing-back system. They want to get forward and get width in those wing-back areas, and they've got 2 strikers who will attack the ball. So difficult challenge for Cardiff City today.
Team news then for Cardiff City ahead of kick-off this afternoon is one change from the side that won that frantic game a week ago at the DW Stadium, 3-1 away at Wigan Athletic. And it's a change in the right-back position. Vontae Campbell comes in for his first league appearance of the season, first league appearance in a Cardiff shirt. We saw a little bit about him in pre-season, and what it seems to suggest is he doesn't want to put square pegs into round holes. Callum O'Dowd played as the wing back last weekend, but if you're going to play a flat back 4, rather than shuffling Perry and G out of what's now his position at centre half, he wants to go for that athleticism and raw pace on the outside.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it demonstrates 2 things. I think it demonstrates that Cardiff want modern day fullbacks who can push on and become an attacking threat and get beyond their midfield man and attack that final third. and it shows that Perry Ng is now a centre half, and I'm all for that. Perry Ng, people talk about his lack of height, but his intelligence and his positioning allows him to get away with that. He's such a good footballing centre half. Since he's made that transition, has there been a better Cardiff City player? Ryan Whittle, perhaps. Callum O'Dowd are coming in this year, but Perry Ng is right up there. So I think it cements the fact that he wants Perry Ng, and more than that, he wants that Ng-Kipre partnership as much as he can. You know, they've talked last week's programme, I think. They've talked in interviews that you and I have done with them respectively. They enjoy playing together. So Mark Hudson wants that tandem, and he wants athleticism, as you say, pace in that full-back stroke wing-back position. So let's hope it's a big day for Vontae Campbell.
I spoke to Shea Ojo after the game last week because he came off the bench. He got a goal. Should have had two, really. He admits that himself. Really put the game to bed, or should have. And I referenced the point that there's a bit of consistency in team selection now, and it looks like some, not just partnerships, but pairings, but units, whatever you want to call them, are starting to bed in. As an ice hockey fan, you know all about units. The back three looked comfortable together last week. There's a change in that regard today. But that midfield three were excellent together a week ago, and there's consistency with that selection this afternoon.
If you can keep Joe Rawls fit, this is the midfield three for me at the moment. And I say that, you know, with a tip of the hat to Romain Sawyers. I keep banging the drum for him. I think he's a superb footballer. Hasn't quite happened yet. It will happen. But at the moment, that midfield three, you got a little bit of everything. Wintle, that quarterbacking role, covering the space, you know, keeping the play moving from side to side. Rawls can break the lines. He's dynamic. You know, he's got a magical left foot. And Rinomhota is just kind of energy personified. He doesn't stop. He breaks up play. He does the dirty work that sometimes goes unnoticed, but it's so crucial to any side that's going to have success. So you're absolutely right. That midfield three, if they can keep Joe Rawls fit, at the moment, those are the guys you want on the pitch, because more often than not, they will win the midfield battle for Cardiff City.
Another person who really planted a flag and set a marker for himself in terms of his ability, and really showing his ability to the Cardiff fans last week, but setting a level of performance now, and that was Nielsen Kanku at left back.
Yeah, he's still, I think everyone knows, and I was listening to you last week, Ash, of course, but when I lost your signal for a bit, I also listened to Kevin Ratcliffe, and Kevin Ratcliffe's, you know, he's Everton through and through, and he says he's got to learn how to play defensively, not in terms of making a tackle, but in terms of position, starting position, covering runs, coming up as a line. That's why a player is out on loan. So there is still a mistake in him in that sense, but my word, he's a supreme athlete. He wants to play football. He wants to have an impact on the game. You can see that. You know, sometimes it's skill and athleticism, sometimes it's sheer will, and you can't help but admire him and like him. So he gives Cardiff City that balance. He gives a dynamic factor on that left-hand side. Yes, there are going to be times where you look at him positionally in a defensive sense and go, ooh, okay, could have done better, but that's all about the learning process. You're right. Short answer to your question, he had an excellent game last week.
Thank you very much. We're going to hear from Perry Ng in a little bit, but first, let's hear what the gaffer, Mark Hudson, had to say when he spoke to the press yesterday.
We came in, we debriefed the game, debriefed the week, and we've sort of focused ourselves towards Coventry at the weekend, and we had a good session on Tuesday, and we've got another good session today planned, and then tomorrow as well. So after a back of a 3-game week, you need to recover the squad, but you also need to work the ones that haven't unfortunately been on the grass, as in not playing minutes. So we're trying to sort of balance the two, whether they've started or not. So yeah, we've had a good opportunity to do that this week. For me, so it's a really good week. But it is only 1 week within the season. It's something that you can't, never going to rest on. And we know this weekend is going to be a tough game. You look at Coventry, they may be where they are in the league, but they're 3-4 games behind everyone because of what's happened with their pitch at the beginning of the season. So you can't take into account where a team are in the league. We know it's going to be a tough game. Yeah, we know they're a good side. You've got to respect everyone in this league, and for us, we'll look into them with the squad today, try and focus them on that. And yeah, we know that at our ground, it's something that we can look forward to, but we know it's a tough team. Mark Romans has done brilliant with them. We've obviously won an away game at Wigan, which I think it was 1,200 fans went, which is unbelievable with all the train strikes and everything. We know that they support us through thick and thin, and they'll be there again on Saturday. And it's down to us, like I said, to show them something for them to get behind. And I know they'll be supporting us from minute one. So as long as we work together to do that, I'm confident that we'll all be together looking forward, which is great. So for me personally, I never look too far ahead, and I'll continue to say that. It's something that I live for the now, and it's important that we focus on Coventry, QPR and Swansea coming up. So I'm not focused on anything but delivering what we can for the team.
Welcome back. Mark Hudson there, talking ahead of this afternoon's kick-off between Cardiff City and Coventry City here at the Cardiff City Stadium. Last time these two teams met on this ground, a 2-0 midweek win for Cardiff City. Mark Harris and Joel Bagan on the score sheet on that occasion. And Mark Harris was another player that Shea Ojo referenced when I spoke to him last week, because you're talking about people making the most of their opportunities, and the fact that this season more than ever, with the fact that we're going to stop playing for 4 weeks in not too long time, the squad are going to be used, they are going to be needed, and when they're called upon, they're going to need to stand up and be counted. And as if we expected anything else, Mark Harris has really done that in recent weeks, hasn't he?
He has, but you go back to what we were saying before the Mark Hudson interview about partnerships and pairings. You almost have to talk about him and Callum Robinson as a pairing now, and I know it's a tree, and Callum O'Dowda, we know all about what he does, but they seem to have some chemistry, and you can't coach chemistry, you can't necessarily teach chemistry. Sometimes it just happens. Mark Harris has always been an impactful player for Cardiff City. Consistency in his game, starting 90 minutes, was perhaps a constructive criticism from the last manager, but right now he's in the team and earning his place on merit based on his own performance, but based on the combination play between him and Callum Robinson. Callum Robinson's movement is superb. I love watching him, where he draws players into, dropping deep, that little area between perhaps a deep line midfielder and a centre-half. You know, does the deep line midfielder sit in? Does the centre-half move forward? But he's opening up space, and Mark Harris is another one who's just in constant motion. His runs are intelligent, he's got energy, he'll go in behind, he'll stretch the game, and him and Callum Robinson as a pairing in a three, perhaps, if that's not a contradiction in terms, I think have been absolutely excellent. So I think the two of them are very much enjoying playing with each other.
I think you've really touched on the point there when you talk about the intelligence of those two. I think you can stretch that further to this squad, can't you? I think above all else, what we've learned from this squad in the last few weeks is there's a real football intelligence about them, and that's part of the reason they've been recruited individually to come to this football club this summer, because you've seen that this coaching staff have asked them to be flexible with their formation, and it's not easy switching game to game the shape. It's not easy switching within a game the shape, but they've managed to do that, and you saw that again last week with playing the three at the back. And again, no surprise at all, Callum O'Dowda, no fuss, goes and plays right wing back and is excellent there.
Yeah, there's nothing he can't do. If they asked him to work in the bar on a match day, I'm sure he'd pour the perfect pint. I go back to what I keep saying to you, and I say every game, I believe in the project. The recruitment, I think, was good on a budget, and I think you've got a modern day football squad. You've got intelligence, athleticism, ability to adapt, and perhaps, we had very good players before, or players that were popular before, but you did always think that perhaps Cardiff City were a little antiquated, a little outdated. The effort was there, the passion was there, but you always felt that other teams were 1 or 2 steps ahead of us in terms of evolution in the modern game. I think Cardiff City, the recruitment done in the summer, is far from a finished article. We know that. Let's remember we're only sitting in 12th position, and it's only the last 7 days that have really meant optimism has returned to this club. But I do look at this team and think, yeah, there's potential there. There's potential to adapt. There's potential to be on the front foot. There's potential to win games. Hopefully we win another one today.
Have a quick look at Coventry then. 2 changes to their team ahead of the game. Looks like they're going to pack the midfield a little bit. In comes Josh Eccles into the middle of the park. The far more, let's say, enigmatic Casey Palmer drops out. So I think he's gone for not the tried and trusted, but he's gone for somebody I think he knows will give a guaranteed performance and work rate in the middle of that park. And that might be to the detriment of creativity. But Matt Godden comes in up front alongside Victor Gorkarej. They were excellent when they played together last season. And they've stuck with the 3 at the back, and that's, again, as you pointed out, we're talking off camera before the game, it's no surprise, because they've only won 1 game this season because of everything that's been going on, but they've only conceded 1 goal in the last 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And two former Cardiff City goalkeepers. Wilson gets the shout today. And when I looked at that stat this morning, I thought he'd only conceded one in the last four. I thought, well, that's a platform. You're bottom of the league, but that is a platform. So we talked about Rose coming back in, but why change something that's not necessarily broken? So obviously they've got a platform to play from, and with Godden and Gorkes up front, they've got players who can score goals and physical players as well. They will give centre-halves problem today, and we will see someone target Perry and G. Perhaps Gorkes will go and try and play off Perry and G. I think Perry and G, we've learned now, can cope with that. But there are threats in this team, and they will look to get their wing-backs wide, and in a former Swansea City player on the left, Bidwell, pains me to say it, but he can impact games. He's impacted games against Cardiff City before. And who is it? Dabo on the right. He's someone who gives them width, energy, athleticism up and down the flank, something we talked about with Cardiff City. So, yeah, it could be a little bit cat and mouse here today, a big battle in the midfield. But something I haven't said for a few seasons, Ash, I think Cardiff City can win the midfield battle.
And that is maybe helped by the fact that we've touched on no Gustavo Hamer in the middle of that park today, and he's hot-headed. That's why he's not playing today. 2 red cards already this season, a 4-game suspension. He serves the last of them this afternoon, but my word, he not only makes a difference to this Coventry team, he would make a difference to any team at the Championship level.
I completely agree. Was it Tuesday night last season we went there and lost 1-0 in a game we weren't really in. We should have lost by more, and he stopped us from playing. Very intelligent where he sits, similar to Ryan Wintler, but obviously with more of a physical presence to him and a little bit more of a temper to him. I don't know how you get sent off twice in only 10 games played, but and he's missed a large number of those. So he is a loss. You can take him off his game, but I think any Championship side would want him. He breaks up play, he makes good forward passes, and he gets the Coventry side on the transition very, very quickly. So, yeah, he'd be a miss to any team.
Thank you very much. John, you might have noticed in the warm-up shots there, Cardiff players are wearing their pro CPR T-shirts this afternoon. We've coordinated with Cardiff University to support a great cause to get people to learn and practice their CPR, because you just never know, you might one day save a life. That's it from us this afternoon ahead of kick-off. We're both on commentary. John on audio, myself and Connor Pearce on video this afternoon. So, of course, buy your match pass. Come and watch the game, because we've got live commentary of Cardiff and Coventry after this interview with Perry and G.
I've played every game I've been available for so far, and I think the way we're playing, I'm really enjoying it. The way we're moving the ball, and we've had a lot of clean sheets as well. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I think I do prefer centre half, but I actually don't really mind as long as I'm playing. I'm not too bothered. And yeah, I've always been versatile. I think that's why when I was younger, I probably got to look ahead of some of the other lads I played with, because I was never the greatest player when I was younger, but because I was versatile, I felt like I got more opportunities because I could play, anywhere on the pitch, really. I've had that my whole career. I've never been like the strongest, but I've had to use my brain and use, my heart sometimes. And, playing in League Two, that helped me a lot. That's where the game most my experience. And I played against some big brutes there, so I'm used to it now. Hoods and Rammers have been brilliant. And Stacky, they've kept us upbeat. They've got us playing forward a lot more. And, we've got some good results from it. So, yeah, we've really been enjoying it, and we just need to keep this momentum going. We've won 2 in a row, so there will be an expectation going into the game. But I think we can't judge Coventry from where they are in the league. Last year, they were probably one of the best teams we played. So we've got to go into the game, expecting a tough game. And we need to concentrate on ourselves and keep this momentum going. Yeah, it's crazy. 2 weeks ago, everyone was, down and depressed because we were near the bottom of the league, but we were only 5 points off the playoffs. And now with a good week, we're 3 points off the playoffs. So anything can happen in this league, especially when you're on a good run. Very positive, exciting times. I think, 17 new players, a new style of play. I think this club is going in the right direction. And, we just need to keep working hard and keep believing in ourselves, and we'll see where we end up.
Top 5 in association with the Big Yellow Self-Storage Company.
Right footed. Oh, it's a great goal! Joe Bagan for the second game in a row.
Oh, Mark, I think we've just had our February goal of the month, and take a foul, Joe Bagan. This has been coming. Of course, he did score on Saturday, but he's been so good since coming back into the lineup against Liverpool, growing in confidence.
Good evening, welcome to Cardiff City TV.
What a finish, what a goal.
If you look at the numbers alone, a little bit cut adrift as well, but that certainly does not tell the story of this Coventry season so far. They have played 3 games less than anyone else in the division, courtesy of problems with their playing surface at their home ground after that was used for the Rugby Sevens tournament and the Commonwealth Games in the summer. So they're behind schedule in terms of games, but also in terms of points. So easy to say, it's an unfair reflection of where they're at as a side, but they do need to start putting some points on the board. For Cardiff, Well, it's been a really, really encouraging few weeks, hasn't it? 3 games unbeaten under the stewardship of Mark Hudson, and back-to-back wins against Blackburn Rovers and Wigan Athletic in the last 2 games. They come into this game unbeaten in 2 at home, unbeaten in 3 overall, and looking for another positive performance this afternoon ahead of a tough week of Championship football. Queen's Park Rangers coming up on Wednesday night, and then of course the looming derby, Swansea City, next Sunday. But first, all focus and attention on this tricky game to read here this afternoon at the Cardiff City Stadium. Form should indicate an okay afternoon for Cardiff. It's never the case, is it? At the Championship level. Coventry looking for their first away win of the season. They've only won 1 game in total so far. They have, though, improved in recent weeks, conceded just 1 goal in their last 4 games. And the Bluebirds looking to continue this impressive run of form. A really encouraging performance, or 2 encouraging performances here at home against Burnley and Blackburn, and then a really good away performance a week ago at the DW Stadium. Made life a little awkward for themselves late on by conceding to make the last 10 minutes a bit frantic. But they're good value for the win, Mark Hudson's men. They bring that confidence and positivity into this afternoon. 2 teams are in the tunnel, poised for their arrival. Coventry will be wearing their, I guess multicoloured is the only phrase for it, away strip. Cardiff, of course, head to toe in navy blue. And the 2 teams emerge from down beneath us here in the grandstand of the Cardiff City Stadium, led out by team captains Joe Rolls and Kyle McFadden. Changes for both teams, just the 1 though in terms of personnel for Cardiff. Fonte Campbell comes in for a Cardiff City competitive league debut at the right back position. Cardiff switch into a 4, having played a back 3 away at Wigan last week. The central midfield trio remains of Ryan Wintle, captain Joe Rolls and Andy Rinomota, and Mark Harris, Callum Robinson and Callum O'Dowda comprise the front 3. For Coventry, there are 2 changes. Out goes Casey Palmer, earning that at number 10. In instead comes Josh Eccles, a more orthodox central midfielder, so that could be a case of Coventry really plug in the middle of that park and looking to remain difficult to play through. In the back 3, youngster Callum Doyle gets the nod over the more experienced Michael Rose. So it'll be Callum Doyle and Jonathan Panzo either side of captain Carl McFadden. And those 3 have been paired together in the last 4 games. The Sky Blues have conceded just once. I believe that's Bobby Madley. And then in the middle, confirmation there.
attack from left to right as we look from the grandstand for this first half. There's the two managers, Mark Robbins for the visitors, Mark Hudson